Why are older men even around teenagers to begin with? These men can actively come on platforms and expose themselves for being PDF files.
I'm not attracted to no women over 35 years old.
I think younger women tend to be more impressionable.
Date somebody your own age. Why aren't you doing
Why?
The men are more obsessed with age than we are.
I think I lie for you. I think I die for you. Just cry for you. Do things when you want me to. Like controller. Yeah, like
What's goody? What's poppin'? What's crackin'? What's crackin'? What's crackin'? What's crackin'? Y'all chillin'? Y'all chillin'? I bet. It's your girl Lisi, and we back again with another epic video. Okay, y'all, so today we gotta get to a little bit of straightening for real. Like we need to do some straightening from the last story time that I posted. This one right here, linked above. Of course, as per usual, as I thought that there would be some discourse in the comment section, but you know, this is the internet. I posted a crazy ass story time. Of course there were gonna be comments. I'm getting to the point of my YouTube career or my internet career, whatever you want to call it, where I cannot post anything without my words getting twisted or my personality. I just want to make it real clear. Lisa is not, was not, will not ever be the predator. I was a teenager, and anyone else who was a teenager, who had a teen at the end of their age involved in that story time, they were teenagers. We were all teenagers who were caught up with a 30-year-old grown-ass man.
Clock it.
All in all, this situation just ties into a bigger conversation that needs to be had about manipulation, enabling, and why older men even go after young girls, young women to begin with. Today, class, this is the comment that I would like to address.
Oh my God.
Don't act shocked.
But before we get into all the tea and all the straightening, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. My name is Lisi. My government is Alicia. And if you're a returning viewer or subscriber, what's goody, what's poppin', what's crackin', what's crackin', y'all chillin', I already know y'all chillin'. Definitely do not forget to give this video a big like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure y'all tap in with me on Instagram, TikTok, and Patreon. Here's the latest Patreon video, and definitely do not forget to hype this video so y'all can help me get pushed through the algorithm. If you don't want to like the video, if you don't want to comment on the video, hype the video. All you gotta do is go to the comment section, swipe, and click on that hype. Now let's just get straight into the video. Okay, so let's get into the first comment that your girl needs to go ahead and address today. Listen, girl, if you watching, no shade to you, but your comment gave me content. Okay, okay, period. I understand your point, but that's why we doing some straightening today and some clarification today. I already responded to her in the comments. One thing I will always do on my platform is clarify and do a little bit of straightening. Period! I'm not going into deep details on context, but we're basically talking about the last video that I posted. It was a story time about my predator ex, who was essentially a predator, okay? He was a predator. He was very messy. He was a man whore. I met him when I was 18 years old, and he was 29 going on 30. If you need the additional context, go to that motherfucking video, okay? And it's a whole series to go with it as well. She says, Lisi, I really like your content, but this video, you are victim blaming her, asking her, why would she bring crazy around? And laughing about her essay. But you showed photos of a 17-year-old while having a sexually charged conversation. You get the excuse of saying you were young, but Brianna was the same age? Okay, let's break the comment down. First, let's talk about the laughing, because what we're not going to do is police my personality. Okay, like, I don't know if y'all can tell, but if some of y'all call yourselves really liking my content, you can't just like the content. You gotta like the personality that comes with the content as well. It's all in one package. Let me make this clear. I have never and will never laugh at anyone who is going through or feels like they went through an SA experience or a DV experience. I firsthand know what it's like to go through both. Let's just make things clear, okay? But to be a subscriber, a supporter of Lisi and her content is to know that Lisi has a personality, is the type of person who will literally laugh at anything. And if you're someone who watches my videos, you'll see that I literally laugh at everything, even when I'm talking about the most hurtful things that were said and done to me. That's just simply my personality. Dark humor. It's a thing. Here's the Google definition. And for me, dark humor is a coping mechanism. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm laughing at the situation. Like, that is literally how my personality and how my brain is wired. In certain situations, some people might go silent. Some people might scream, some people might cry. And I tend to laugh in a lot of situations. I don't know why I'm like this, but I'm not changing who I am to make other people comfortable. And that's what I'm learning with this internet stuff. Like, it's always gonna be somebody who has an issue with what you say, how you say it. Like, that's just what it is. But I just have to set the record straight for my own sake, for my own platform, just so things just don't continue to get misconstrued, honestly. If you are a type of person that in certain circumstances you would not let out a laugh, and you feel like I'm wrong for letting out a laugh when I laugh at everything, then maybe you should unsubscribe from the channel. I don't know. And that's not even me trying to be cocky, I'm just trying to protect everybody's peace, because I literally laugh at everything. I laugh when I'm scared. I laugh when I'm angry. I'm laugh when stuff is funny. I laugh when I'm sad. Like, I just be laughing. That does not mean that I think that assault in any shape or form is funny. It just means I survived it, because I really did too. And speaking on surviving assault, let's get into the next part. The next part is the whole victim conversation with Brianna. I have made it clear, and will continue to make it clear, that Crazy had no business being around me, Brianna, trying to be around Curly, who was a 17-year-old, while he was 30 years old. He had no business being on or near a college campus, unenrolled, not in any classes at all. Like, some other comment has said that for the fact that this man is on this campus and you not even enrolled into anything, sir, what are you doing? What we got going on here? Yes, we were all victims of this man, because he had no business being around us from the beginning. But here's where I have some confusion. To my subscribers that only see Brianna as a victim, I just want to know why some of y'all are clearly skipping over the parts of the story where Brianna was clearly, quite literally, enabling Crazy and his bullshit.
Clock it.
Because my whole thing is, at the end of the day, being a victim of abuse, being a victim of manipulation does not excuse you from introducing your abuser, your alleged abuser, to other young girls.
Clock it.
And that just simply, for me, just touches on the point of, I'm victim blaming Brianna, asking why would she bring Crazy around. My whole thing is, that's a valid question. Like, why would you bring this man around if he assaulted you? Like, that's a very valid question to ask. And, you know, of course, there is discourse around me being wrong with setting up Brianna, putting her in a room with her abuser without her knowledge. And I understand what some of you guys are saying, as far as most victims don't feel safe with confronting their alleged abusers. Most victims, or some victims, don't immediately come out and talk about the harm that was done to them, especially, you know, when there aren't people with them in that moment that can protect them. And, you know, I understand too that it was a complicated situation considering the element of surprise that was most likely thrown on Brianna. But at the end of the day, I see me setting her up as me being a girlfriend trying to get to the bottom of some BS between my boyfriend and my so-called friend, who both are saying two completely different stories. And let's keep in mind, y'all, when this story time took place when I was 19 years old, which was 8 years ago, almost a decade, literally. At that point in my life, I did not see Crazy as my abuser. I did not see him as a predator to me or others. I simply saw him as my boyfriend, someone who I had a intimate, physical, emotional relationship bond with. So yeah, I was stuck between a rock and a hard place, that someone who's so-called my friend, who got caught up backdooring me with my boyfriend, is now got these allegations on my boyfriend. The people who are saying that I was wrong, what would y'all have done? Honestly, like, I really want to know, like, if you was in that exact situation, how was you going about the situation? Like, I don't feel like there's no right or wrong answer, because we would all go about that situation how we would go about it as the individual. I was very much still in a relationship with him in that moment. Like, I wasn't about to just up and leave and break up with him because my friend that put me on to him is telling me that something happened the first night they met each other before she introduced me to him. I'm not sure if some of y'all looked at them screenshots that I put in the ending of the video. Some can say that I was manipulated into setting up Brianna, because if y'all see the screenshots, Crazy was the one pushing for this whole conversation between all three of us to happen. And yes, I agreed, because I felt like if I was to hit up Brianna and ask her, hey, can me, you, and Crazy sit down and have a conversation? Of course, she wasn't going to sit down and have a conversation if she knew up front. So that was my logic at the time at 19 years old. That, of course, can go back to what some of you guys were saying. Some victims don't want to face their abuser. But how was you facing him? Literally every single time prior to this interaction. And somehow when it's time to face the truth, she wants to avoid that accountability. When Brianna and Crazy had that conversation about him getting Curly's phone number, that was a conversation that they had sitting in his car, just them two by themselves. So it's like, if any of y'all could make sense of this for me with the details and the evidence, let me know. And for me, that's exactly where the contradiction comes into play. This person is claiming victimhood against someone that I'm actively in a relationship with at the time. But when it came for her to introduce him to other girls on a college campus, when it came for her to start working for him, essentially, when it came to her for getting back in contact with him, because y'all are skipping over the detail of the story that I told y'all as well, that Crazy cut her off. I reconnected them because I wanted my boyfriend and my friend to be cool again. And somehow, weeks after I reconnect them back together, he spills the beans on some information and she's claiming that she's a victim. The math is just not mathing to me. Like, so nah, I don't feel like I was wrong. I feel like I was doing what needed to be done. I'm getting to the bottom of stuff, because how have you enabled and facilitated this man being around, but you claiming the first night he assaulted you? That don't make no sense to me, and it will never make no sense to me. If this is someone who truly traumatized you, who truly violated you, how was I able to bring y'all back together on some kumbaya? And all it took was for him to spill the beans for you to claim that? It's not making sense to me. All of a sudden, these allegations come out and I'm supposed to just believe your story to the T? Nah, I'm not doing it. Sorry. The core issue though is Crazy. The core issue is Crazy because he had no business being around any of us to begin with. So all of this is his fault. I just want to know, where is the line going to be drawn in the sand between being manipulated, groomed, and coerced versus actively enabling someone to manipulate, groom, and coerce? That's what I want to know. I have experienced these people in real life. I have real life lived this in real life. If we're going to be FFR, as far as victims and abuse is concerned, Lise, she ate 95% of that, okay? Just off the strength that I was the one who was around Crazy. I know him the best out of anybody involved in that last story time. If we're gonna be real, I mean, I don't really know him for real. But y'all know what I mean. I spent the most time with him. Like, I basically lived with him. I've seen a lot of sides of him that Brianna or Curly did not see. Brianna was probably around this man for, like, I kid you not, maybe like 4 months total. And that's like spread out. There's gaps in between that. I was around this man for like 2.5 years, maybe 3. Like I said, and we'll keep saying, we were all teenagers under the manipulation of a grown man. But I feel like it's worth asking, how can the alleged assault that she experienced from the first night she met Crazy, how can that alone force her to keep introducing the same abuser to multiple people, multiple young girls at that, one of which was a minor?
Clock it.
Are we skipping over that, or are we forgetting that Brianna asked a 17-year-old if she wanted to get my boyfriend's phone number? Like, so I hear y'all on the, okay, we was all victims. That's as far as I'm concerned, we was all victims. But we're not going to just skip over the fact that Brianna was very much an enabler for Crazy as well. Like I said, she was his little runner for them trees. And I guess for Cooter Cat too. She was constantly putting him on to girls. Like, for me, it's giving wingman at this point. And some may say, you know, okay, maybe she got a trauma bond in the first night. And
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I'm not really hearing that either, because the way trauma bonds aren't formed off of one night, off of meeting somebody. From my knowledge, a trauma bond is a situation where a victim feels the need to have loyalty to or protect their abuser. Some may say that could explain some of Brianna's actions in what transpired. To my knowledge, when a trauma bond occurs, that person normally stays silent regarding their abuse, or just simply staying with the abuser and carrying on, not actively recruiting new victims, which, if we look at the story, that's what essentially was what was happening. What Brianna did, which was introduce myself to Crazy, invite him into the dorms, and damn near facilitated a 17-year-old having his contact information, that very much crosses the line of enabling. She was very much a victim and an enabler of to Crazy. So me personally, I feel like there's a difference between being manipulated into staying silent about something and being manipulated into actively recruiting others. If anyone thinks that's trauma bonding, well, that's a very dangerous form of trauma bonding. But for me, it also shows why I have questioned and I have struggled to understand her choices in this entire ordeal, hence the separation of me and her's relationship. A trauma bond is a situation where the abuser alternates between kindness and harm, love bombing, gaslighting, love bombing. It's a cycle, and it happens over time. It doesn't just happen in one night. There's also time and emotional investment, patterns that happen over days, weeks, months. And the abuser, very much like I said, love bombs you, uses gifts, authority, fear, or attention, giving you constant attention to form some sense of obligation. So if anything, me and Crazy definitely had a trauma bond. I don't know what was going on with Brianna, but she wasn't around that long enough to have any kind of trauma bond with him. Like, I said what I said because I know what happened in my life. I know the story. The only people that really know the story are me, God, and the people involved. And everybody involved knows that between this whole situation, Alicia and Crazy were the two people who spent the most time together, who had the most toxicity together, who had the most abuse together. Point blank in the period. Maybe after the initial occurrence where the alleged assault happened, and I say alleged because I fully don't believe that it happened how Brianna said it happened. And I'm just saying that simply because I personally feel like she came out and said what she said on some like retaliatory stuff. Just knowing who I'm dealing with and knowing extra details that y'all don't know, and knowing the additional story time that she comes up in where she quite literally had me effed up again after college, I just feel like it was retaliatory. Like Brianna and Crazy had some kind of loyalty pact going on that I had no knowledge of. If Crazy really believed that he essayed this girl, he would have kept that information to himself. Experiencing the man in real life, like he's a very petty, immature man. He's a very tit for tat kind of man. Like he put that information out because he felt like Brianna slighted him by telling me about his dirty little plan. I feel like when he came out and said what he said, when he called her crashing out saying, oh yeah,
oh, you told her about this, but you ain't tell her about this, so now I'm about to tell her about this.
Yeah, that's how he is. Like that's how he is. So just to summarize my question and summarize my argument on this, it's very valid for me to ask, if you claim that this man assaulted you the first night you met him, how do you stay, or do you try to stay so close to him afterwards? Keep contact and then introduce him to other girls that he can assault. We were all teenagers manipulated by that man, but I'm allowed to ask these questions about the choices that Brianna made. Let's touch on I showed photos of a 17-year-old girl while having a sexually charged conversation. Okay, like because that, like the way that's worded, I'm just sitting here like, well, damn, because the way you saying that, it's like you trying to say I was sitting there playing with my to the pictures of the 17-year-old and Crazy was sitting next to me doing, you know what I'm saying, to his eggplant or something to the 17-year-old, and baby, that was not the case. I just want to make it very clear that there is a big difference between me showing someone a public Instagram of a girl and telling them, hey, this is my type of girl, and I just so happen to know the girl. There's a difference between me saying that and making it clear that I would not pursue an underage girl. The conversation I had with Crazy, telling him about Curly, I don't feel like it was sexually charged because I made it clear that I would not sexually charge her. I'm allowed to say, yeah, she's my type though. If I was to go for something, I would go for that. Yeah. And it's not the same as asking a 17-year-old or telling them, hey, this 30-year-old wants your phone number. Should I give it to him? Because that's more than likely how the conversation went. And that's what Brianna did. Brianna was literally about to facilitate the number exchange of a 17-year-old and a 30-year-old. That's why I want to know, why are we skipping over those parts of the story? And speaking of Curly, it was someone who commented and even said I was so-called wrong for how I treated Curly. I'm confused. Like, how did I treat Curly? She came to me, delivered some information, I thanked her, and I went to go confront the real root issue, the real core problem, Crazy. I didn't owe Curly anything else outside of the conversation I gave her and the thank you that I gave her. Me and her were not friends. I didn't owe her any emotional conversation or communication. Like, I don't know what y'all wanted me to do with Curly. That was not my friend. What was I supposed to do? Cry in her arms about how my friend and my man are backdooring me? Those are just some points I wanted to point out. I will always still say we were all being manipulated by a grown-ass man who had no business being around us. But it also ties into a bigger conversation that I do want to discuss about why are older men even around teenagers to begin with? Why do we constantly see older men clowning older, more mature women? Why do we constantly hear and see of men who are avoiding dating women their age, or women who are older, or women who are of a certain stature or season of their life, and seemingly constantly chasing after girls who just turned 18. And honestly, I really don't feel like it's about attraction. Some men may claim, oh, older women don't look as good as younger women. Older women look old.
Date somebody your own age. Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you dating women your own age?
Some women be pretty when they're young. When they get older, they be looking bad. The older women don't be fit. They don't be feminine. They don't be cooperative.
So
and they don't be submissive.
Yo, and people want to date somebody so much younger because y'all be wanting somebody to train.
Sometimes
and men say that. Women are not things to train.
Well, she could train up. It said train up a child the way they should go.
That's why y'all be wanting to date children.
No, but
that's why y'all be wanting to date children.
So listen, I see older guys date young girls all the time.
But that doesn't say that there's nothing wrong with that. Just because it's normalized does not mean that it's okay.
And the reality is, these men do this because it's easier to go after someone who doesn't have the same life experience as you.
Clock it.
I don't mean like exact life experience, because all of our lives are different. But it's a difference between having 30 years of life experience of being on planet Earth and 18 years of being on planet Earth. Because damn near for them 18 years, in most cases, you were very much a kid, living under your parents' house, under their rules, under their regulations. But by the time you 30, in most cases, you've been doing this little adulting thing for a little over a decade. So I really feel like men, not men in general, but the specific group of men who swear they can't date women their age, who swear women their age are too much, who swear you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
I think younger women tend to be more impressionable. In my experience, you 30, 33, 35, the experiences that you have at that point is just, a little bit too much for me. I really think in some cases you really can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I prefer, my women to be of the younger variety.
Why do you need to have that level of power over her if you're not trying to manipulate someone?
See, it's not power, it's impressionable. I've never seen a successful partnership where the other person wouldn't allow themselves to be impressed upon. I got a vision, I got a plan, I got a whole program. I would think that the person that wants to be with me is willing to learn and willing to adopt some of the ways, or even some of the principles that I have.
Well, impressionable is basically getting someone to do what you want them to do because they're easily swayed and easily persuaded to do what you want them to do.
Who said that? Did you make that up? When you hire somebody, you look for somebody that's impressionable. But why would I? Listen,
When you hire somebody, you're about to train them. No, and that's why you want them impressionable.
They love going for younger women because they know they'll be able to easily manipulate them and be the puppet master. And those be the same men that love to age shame women as well. Like, once you start pushing 30, they got all kind of stuff to say. Once you 35 plus, they got all kind of stuff to say.
I'm not attracted to no women over 35 years old.
You're not?
No. Y'all standards are too high. Y'all are too emotional. Y'all are damaged good from past relationships. I am not damaged.
These are the same men that know that older women who come with baggage, they know that we not tolerating no BS.
Clock it.
I swear, I don't know like which part of the Narcissistic X series it was, but it was a time when me and Crazy was having a whole argument and he was saying he wished he would have met me at 25. Why are you backpedaling now, bitch? You wish you met me at 25 because you know the relationship would have went different. These men who do these things, they know what they're doing. They know it's going to be a certain kind of vibe if they're dealing with a woman with their age, and they know it's going to be another kind of vibe if they're dealing with a woman who's 5 years younger than them, and they know for a fact it's going to be a whole other kind of vibe if they're dealing with a woman who is 10 years younger than them, 11 years, 20 years, 15 years. That's just going to be the thing with age gaps in general. But it's when it gets spooky, when the age gap is one person is something teen or 20 or 21 or under 25, and the gap starts from like 35 and up or 30 up. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. It just seems like society loves to clown older women. They love to age shame older women. If you're pushing 30, if you're over 30, if you're over 35, they love to call us washed up, strict. It's a certain part of society, maybe the red pill mother effers, I don't know, who constantly praise men for dating women who are barely adults. Why? For them to manipulate, coerce, control, use, and abuse them. It's a higher chance that you're not going to be able to do that with a woman who is 25 plus, with a woman who is 27, with a woman who is 30, 35, 40, and 45. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all about the control. I feel like I definitely look young at this point, but I feel like my vibe definitely gives more mature. I mean, I've been age shamed, okay? Like, ever since your girl has gone viral, trolls love to tell me damn near every day at this point, you're too old to be doing this. You're too old to be doing that. You need to start a family. You need to settle down and start a family. You need to be an example for the younger generation. You look like you're 40. You look like you're 50. All because, and I really feel like it's really because around the time I went viral, it wasn't too short of my 27th birthday. So that content was literally right under that. So all of a sudden people see, oh, she's over 25. She's 27. That means she's 30. Actually, no, that means she's 40. Actually, no, that means she's 50. And her whole life needs to end. Her whole life needs to end because she's pushing 30. All those kinds of comments, I swear to God, all those kinds of comments that I have gotten regarding my age and what I need to do for my age have only come from either men or teenage boys. It seems like the men are more obsessed with age than we are, because one thing that's not stopping is my life. As long as I got breath in my body, as long as I got blood flowing through my veins, oh baby, I will be living my best motherfucking life. It really just seems like once a woman hits 25, you're just too old. You should have your life figured out. You should be perfect. You shouldn't be making any mistakes. You shouldn't have fun anymore. You should settle down, have kids, and be setting examples for younger girls as if we're not supposed to still be living our lives. Meanwhile, the whole double standard of it all, men get to live free, date whoever they want, whether they have a teen at the end of their age or not, and nobody questions them. Their bros hype them up. We're in an era, we're in a space where these men can actively come on platforms and expose themselves for being PDF files because they only prefer younger women. And don't let a older woman try to date a younger man. They're gonna call her all kind of cougars. All kind of cougars. They ain't gonna let that woman live. Child, I don't effing know. But the moral of the story is that a certain sector of older men avoid women their age, older, more mature women, because they're not grown men. They're grown boys. They haven't grown up, hence why they can't handle an older woman, because they can't handle the responsibility and accountability that comes with an older woman, because we're not going for the BS that we went through when we were teens, dealing with older men that manipulated and abused us. That's why older women are so much to deal with. That's why older women tend to come with baggage and a lot that some of these grown boys can't handle. Because when we were the teenagers that y'all love to go after, we was in that same position, dealing with an older man who was trying to manipulate, coerce, abuse, and control us. And we're not doing it anymore. But anywho, y'all, what is a fact is that the 18-year-old Lisi, who was 18, she survived crazy. I was able to walk away with my life, thankfully, because I very much could have lost it dealing with him. I was able to tell my truth, and I was able to stand on it and stand in it, which is something that I will continue to do as long as I have my platform, as long as I'm alive. So moving forward, let's not twist my coping style. Let's not erase enabling that has happened. And let's not forget that the real predator is the grown man who goes after teenagers. Anywho, what do y'all think? Have y'all seen age shaming in real life, in real time? Have you seen it on the internet? Or just older men targeting younger girls in your life? Have you guys seen that play out in real time? If you have, definitely let me know in the comments, because I definitely want to know what y'all gotta say. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today's video, y'all. If you made it to the end, put this emoji on the screen. Definitely don't forget to give the video a big like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all on the next video. Later.